Hey guys, so I am here to do my Q&A, my very first Q&A, and this is resulting from my comments on the 300 subscriber giveaway. And I don't know if this will become one or two videos, just depending on how long it takes my big mouth to answer all these questions. I have about 25 right now, so I may not do them all in one video and just kind of split it up for like a later video down the road. So we'll just get started. Question one was from Shark Baby, and she said, "What is the craziest thing you've done so far while TTC? Any superstitions or good luck charms? Congrats on reaching 300." Smiley face. And my answer to that is superstitions. Good luck charms, no. Superstitions, I don't know. I don't really have superstitions, but I guess my thing would be that I have a thing where I think that we have to BD like every single chance we get, like around that period of time. But in the back of my mind, I know that if God wants us to have a baby at this time, then we're gonna have a baby. It doesn't matter. Question two is from Amy Lynn Grew, and I talk to her all the time, and I don't even know if I'm saying your last name right. I don't know. You can tell me. Tell me in the comments if I'm saying your name right. Her question is, how did you and hubby meet? Was it love at first sight? Well, that question in itself could go on forever. But no, we met through we met through his girlfriend at the time, he had been dating for about 6 years. They were like high school, junior high sweethearts, except they weren't really sweethearts because here we are and they're not together. But no, we met through her. She was like my best friend at the time. I had just moved to California. I moved to California in January of 2012, and I met her, my friend, who became one of my best friends. I met her in February when I started working at a retail store with her, and then I met him in February of 2012 as well because they were dating, and we went out to eat a few times together with her and him, and just several things. And actually, the first time we ever met was in front of an outlet store, just because he was giving her something when we were hanging out. So, funny story, yeah, that's how we met. It was not love at first sight. I was going through a lot of stuff myself, and at the time I was actually in a relationship with someone, not a healthy one, but a relationship nonetheless. And I did not see him like that at all, like at all. Yeah, and I'll get into that later on too, because someone else had asked a question about that. But yeah, did not see him as love at first sight when we first met, or even for a while after we met. So, no. Cassie Moon asked, "What's your most embarrassing TTC moment?" And I read this question obviously before, and I was thinking, like, I cannot for the life of me think of a really embarrassing TTC moment. I think my husband gets more embarrassed than anything when his parents will bring up, when we start talking about like the fact that we're trying, and his parents bring up just funny comments, and he just gets red, and he's like, "Mom," or "Dad," and like he just like leaves the room. So it's really my husband that gets more embarrassed about things like that than me. But nothing like crazy embarrassing has ever happened to us that I mean, yeah, because it really. And the next one is from Baby Maybe, and her question is, "When do you wear makeup, and what makeup do you use?" With a smiley face, probably because you guys hardly never see me with makeup on, which actually right now I do have some on. And I say some, and that's really, I don't get fancy at all. Like, if you see any of my wedding pictures, which I guess my profile picture is no longer my wedding picture, but if I ever post any of my wedding pictures, or you have me on other, social networks where you do see my wedding pictures, that's like probably the most makeup I've ever worn and will wear. I'm just not a high maintenance girl. Like, my hair looking like this and the makeup I have on is about almost pretty much as high maintenance as I get. If I do wear makeup, I wear Pure Minerals. It's from Ulta, and I wear the 4-in-1 foundation, and then also I use their bronzer. I don't even know the right names for these. And if I wear anything else besides that, I do sometimes wear eyeliner, but my eyes get really dry. I just have a really bad problem with my eyes getting dry, so I usually end up rubbing my eyes and that comes off. And then other than that, it's usually just mascara. We have a question from P. Shell, who is, that's her name, is how many kids do you want and what genders, if any, do you prefer? And the whole kid thing, I have answered in a tag question before, but a tag video before, but we're kind of in between, you know, who knows, we may just want one up to maybe around 4-ish. And the next question is from Samantha Hinton. And I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but I know I have you on Instagram, and I think you found me on YouTube first, maybe. I can't remember now. I can't remember everyone, but she's been dying to ask me questions, I can tell. So her first question is, what do you do for a living? And I currently work at a mutual fund company. It's actually a global company, but I currently work in one of the offices here in Northern California, and I'm in customer service, and I take inbound calls, and I help customers with, or we call them shareholders, with their accounts, and then I speak up to a lot of financial advisors from broker dealers and help them with their clients' accounts. So that is what I do. It's very exciting. Not what I went to school for and got my bachelor's for, but nonetheless, it has amazing benefits and great hours. So I can't complain in that sense. Her next question is, do you have any pets? Can't wait for your BFP. Fingers crossed for you guys. Love ya. She's so sweet. No, we don't have pets. I don't wish to have any pets at this time. Lavender Ice says, hi, my question is, once you have your first baby, after knowing it's a boy or girl, depending on how many children you are planning on having, would you want more boys or boys/girls? And honestly, I really want to try to be team green and not find out the sex of the baby, but I know as a first-time parent, that's going to be extremely hard. I'm going to try my best. I really, really, really want to have that surprise, but I don't know if I'm going to be that strong. But as far as if we would want more boys or girls, yes, we do want more kids. If it's a boy, I won't care what we have. If it's a girl, I want to have a boy. So, yeah. Anna TTC Journey says, how long have you been TTCing? What's your favorite? And I think it's Anna. I'm really sorry. I think I said it wrong. What's your favorite TTC trick or product? We have been TTCing. We're currently on our 10th cycle TTCing. We started trying when we got married November of last year, and here we are, 10 cycles later, trying to get our BFP still. My favorite is probably the OPKs and temping, because I can actually see like changes in my body, and it's cool. I just love seeing it. Like, it makes me feel like my body's working, although you never know. That's the answer. Hoping for our first says, what's your favorite thing about TTC? My favorite thing about TTC is, well, that we might have a baby. I can't wait until that day. I cannot wait to see a second line or a plus or a positive or yes or I don't know, whatever it says, whatever test I get my positive on. That's probably my favorite thing about TTC, and just knowing that we're growing our family, hoping to grow our family, and that it's going to be something that Tim and I, who's my husband, I don't say his name a lot, but that him and I have made together, and it's like a piece of both of us, and I just think that's so awesome. And the next one is from Wani Moutone, and please let me know if I said your name wrong. I'm sorry. It's a beautiful name. I just don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But she says, if you could choose anywhere to live, where would you prefer? And then in parentheses, by the sea, in the mountains, in the desert, or in a big city, and why? Never, ever, ever would I ever say big city, partially because I grew up in a small, tiny town in Kansas, and big cities have never been my thing. I don't mind visiting them, but I would never want to live there or raise my children there for that matter. Desert, nah. Mountains, okay. By the sea, I mean, by the sea or in the mountains would probably be where I would pick. I don't know. I'm pretty flexible. I don't really have a priority of where I would choose over another. Although funny that I've been asked this question, because we may or may not be moving in January, moving away from California, possibly closer to my family in Kansas. But that's all up in the air, and it depends on some things that are going down right now and how they work out. So that may be another big update that I have for you guys later on. Bronte Daggett asked, if you could vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go? Oh, I always thought it would be so neat to stay in one of those bungalows over the water, and having a bungalow that's over the water, having crystal clear blue water, like gorgeous aqua colored water. Oh, I am all about that. Now, do I like to snorkel and go scuba diving? No, I'm freaked out by that. But just seeing the water and being near the water and like exploring the area, that would be great. And the next question I'm combining, it was from both, it was from Mommy Megan and then also Paula Wants Babies. They asked me the same similar question, so I decided I was just going to combine this so I wasn't obviously repeating myself. But the questions combined said, my question is, how long have you been TTCing and would you ever consider adoption? And I think that's a really neat question and unique question to ask, especially on a TTC channel, because I mean, that's comes across a lot of people's minds, I'm sure. But again, we have been TTCing for 10 cycles. We have talked about, like, you know, would we ever consider adoption? I definitely think I would. I hope it doesn't come to that point, but if it did, I mean, I am open for that, and my husband is too. I think next question is from Mrs. Jerry Q, and it says, what is the funniest thing that has happened to you and your hubby? And I think this is a really cute question, and I seriously have sat here and wondered, like, what is something funny that's happened to me and Tim? Like, funny things happen to us all the time. Like, we're a funny couple, and, like, I'm just trying to think. I honestly can't think of anything, and I feel horrible. So I'm going to come back to this question if I think of anything, when I think of something, in another Q&A question. Mrs. Jerry Q, I promise you that I will have a good one for you once I think. Sorry, Brandy Lakey asked, what is the most frustrating part of TTC for you and your husband? And I would have to say the most frustrating part for us is that we're here 10 cycles later. I mean, nobody expects to start TTCing and have to wait a long period of time before they get pregnant. Whether it's 10 months, a year, 5 years, like, it doesn't matter how long it's been. For you personally, it feels like a long time. So, I mean, and health-wise, for the most part, I mean, we're healthy. We don't have any major health problems that we know of. And so I just think that, and we're young, you know, so I think that that's just kind of frustrating. I don't know. It's just frustrating because we're kind of in the limbo stage. We're kind of at the stage where we can't get help yet, but we've been at it for a while. So where we're like frustrated and just want things to happen. We want to have answers. So that is frustrating. Unfertile Myrtle says, new subscriber here, excited to follow your journey. My question is, do you have a preference in gender? And I did already answer this already, but I just kind of wanted to read her comment because it was sweet, and she's a new subscriber, and it just made me smile because I see her on my Facebook group, so I just wanted to read her question. Karen J. Irvine asks, fly through the air or breathe underwater? This is so funny. I have to say that I would probably want to fly in the air because being underwater, it just freaks me out. Like, I'll swim underwater and I don't mind like holding my breath underwater, but that's the same reason I don't like to snorkel or especially, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank now? But I don't like to be far, far underwater and just not knowing if at any point I'm not going to be able to breathe. And I feel like that might happen to me if I could breathe underwater, even though I'm getting the power to breathe underwater. Yeah, that's how bad I am about being underwater like that. And this next one is from the Ms. Wool. It's the MSWOL, so sorry if I'm butchering your YouTube name. It asks, where did you and your hubby meet, since your intro shows that you came from Kansas and he came from Cali? Did you ever have to do long distance thing? So I already kind of answered the whole where did we meet, but it is funny that you ask, because yes, I mean, obviously my intro shows that, but I moved to Kansas, and the reasons for moving to Kansas are kind of a whole nother video themselves, and I said that like 3 times for about 3 questions, but hey, if you're really interested in a subject and I say that, just tell me below and I may do a video about those particular things. But yes, my reasons for moving to California are, you know, one in its own, but I did move here by myself, and I ended up living with a family member until I found a job and kind of went my own way. But yes, so we never had to do long distance because I happened to move here and I met him, and I didn't know him before I moved here. So no, we never had to do long distance. Jackie's Journey asked, have you already picked out baby names? Do you and your husband discuss baby names? We have picked out, I think we've came onto an agreement definitely for a boy's first name and definitely for a girl's first name-ish. However, the middle names on both are kind of up in the air and the girl name could change, but there is a boy name that we are so in love with and we've loved ever since we started talking about having kids before we were trying. KMC45RN says, what's your favorite app to track fertility? I use two of my favorites, at least. I use two and that are my favorites. Fertility Friend, it seems to always be spot on. Whenever I enter my ovulation date, like my positive ovulation test, it seems to always be spot on when my period's going to start. I like Ovia because it gives you like when you enter in your symptoms, it'll kind of tell you like, oh, this could be this, or this could be this, or this percentage of people have this symptom around this time of their cycle. So I like that about those two. So Ovia, OVIA, and Fertility Friend, the free version. I haven't. And this one says, is from Shayla Hammer, and it says, how do you stay so positive? And also, when you do get pregnant, do you have plans to surprise your hubby or just tell him? How do I stay so positive? I have been asked that a few times, and I guess I really don't even realize how positive I am until I hear you all tell me that I am positive, and that's really neat. And that's actually another amazing thing about having a YouTube channel is you get support and love and encouragement from people you've never even met. But I love hearing that I stay positive because, I mean, honestly, the only way I'm standing this firm and this, tall during this whole thing is my relationship with God. And that is a very personal preference, and I don't mean to offend anyone if that's not where you stand. That is your own personal preference to have. But honestly, like I know I see a lot of people that get depressed and just completely, just crushed each month. And I honestly believe I would be there if, for me, my personal help is my relationship with God, and just knowing that I know He has a plan for us. I know He has the perfect timing to give us our little miracle. And I know that it doesn't matter if both Tim and I are, completely sterile. Like, if He wants us to have a baby, I know it will happen. Yes, I'm doing everything in my power to help that process because that's just my natural instinct. But I also know that at the end of the day, God has my back and He's going to catch me when I fall. And I do get sad at times, but I'm able to bounce back from that because He's there for me. And I'm overjoyed every day about how much He takes care of me and provides for me. And of course, my husband. I mean, we're both Christians, so we lift each other up, and it just helps our relationship so much that we're both supportive to each other. And he's so supportive to this journey. He wants it just as much or badly as me. So that's where I'm at, and that's why I just stay so positive, I guess.